Hello and welcome to F1 Now. In this video, we're going to be talking about the never-ending cycle of underwhelming performance by Hamilton. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so let's get one thing straight and remember who we are talking about here. Lewis Hamilton, a 7-time Formula 1 champion, the guy with more than 300 races in the bag, most race wins ever, equal to Schumacher in championships, most poles recorded in Formula 1 with a staggering 104, leaving second with just 68, and that's also Schumacher, and most laps led in history with around 5,487. I mean, you get the idea. It's a never-ending list of achievements from a guy from humble beginnings who managed to do all of this in multiple teams. And so we come back to reality in the 2025 season, where we are faced with a driver in the first 5 races of the season who hasn't been able to crack a top 5 finish and seems to be way off his teammate Charles Leclerc. Now, I know he's shown flashes of performance in some races, and how can we forget the Chinese sprint quali and race that gave us a taste of the old Hamilton domination. Now, there has been mixed reviews and takes about where the problem lies with Hamilton's performance, and let's start with the team's point of view. Now, Fred has rightfully so backed his driver every step of the way and called bullshit to the negative claims around Hamilton. And his take of the matter is that Hamilton just needs time to get used to his new machinery. And that means learning how to tame the Ferrari engine, which is very much different to what he's been used to pretty much his whole F1 career, being a Mercedes works driver, always in Mercedes powered cars. Another talking factor has been the brakes used by the boys in Maranello have needed some taking to get used to in how to use them efficiently. And last but not least is setup. Hamilton has a different driving style to Leclerc, and so has needed a way to bridge the gap in performance with a setup that works for him rather than completely reinventing his driving style. Now, setup has been one of the main issues because it seems Hamilton's car is working the tires much more aggressively and destroying the tire life way quicker than what Leclerc's data is showing. Okay, let's take a step back and get back to the reason why Fred has called bullshit to the rumors surrounding his new driver. Well, what are the rumors? Well, it may be that Hamilton has had a decline in performance. See, although there is truth to the issues the guys at Ferrari are stating with regards to Hamilton's side of the garage, the decline in performance line didn't just pop out of the blue. So where did it begin? Now, let me take you back to 2021 when Lewis, Hamilton and Max Verstappen provided us with the most spectacular F1 season I personally have ever laid my eyes on. It was a season like never before. Gone were the days when Mercedes produced a car that could pull 1 second per lap on the rest of the field, because the FIA had put measures in place to slow them down, bringing Red Bull into play. Max that year was a shark in the water, out for blood. The whole season was tense. Nobody knew how each race would go or how they would fare up if they found themselves competing for the same stretch of road. Well, now looking back at it, we know how it went down. See, it all started with Hamilton playing the long game, avoiding contact in various occasions until it became clear that he either had to put a stop to it or Max will forever race him, with the understanding that Lewis will always back out should it get dicey. And then came Silverstone, the turning point of it all. Hamilton gave Verstappen the shock of his life on that argued incident, and it set the tone for the remaining races to come. And again in Monza, Verstappen seemingly took the chance to return the favor, increasing the temperature in the pressure cooker. Now, by that time, it was looking like Verstappen is running away with the championship until Brazil came up, which saw Hamilton and Mercedes start a run of performance which really put it into perspective to not only Red Bull and co, but also the fans about what it takes to win a championship against prime Hamilton. And how can we forget Jeddah, where the infamous brake check or collision, depending on who you supported, created such a stir. And by then, the tension and rivalry between both drivers and teams were at their peak. And so finally, Abu Dhabi. Oh, let's skip to the end of this one. It still hurts me as a Hamilton fan, but what I do want to point out to you guys is that the end result of Abu Dhabi is the reason we have the Hamilton we have now. That loss, the way it went down, did something to him mentally and his performance. See, I don't think the rivalry of the season had an effect on him because it was nothing new. He had already been there and done that with Nico, but losing the championship in that manner took the wind right out of his lungs. Now, years following that have been mostly disappointment and him being not sure or confidence in his ability to get back to the place he once was. We have seen him go through the same dip with Russell as he is now with Leclerc. So we were all hoping that a change in scenery might be the 300 volts to the chest to revive him, almost like a reset to before 2021's ending. But it seems like that hack hasn't worked and we are in for more mediocre performances. So the point here and the reason for Hamilton's downfall is his mind. He needs a familiar experience in a car to the good old days to light that spark again. And so maybe if the key areas mentioned by Ferrari are solved, he could simultaneously break down those mental barriers and find his pace again, like we envisioned Ferrari would do in the first place. We're just going to have to wait and see. Now that is it for the problems facing Hamilton's at Ferrari. I'm curious to hear you guys' view on this in the comments. So with that, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. Once again, thank you and bye for now.